Here we are on lesson number 10. So let's recap where we're at so far, because you are in the process of getting ready to program your first captioned scene or cartoon. All right. So last time we were together, you got this activity guide, and I said start sketching things out. I included in Schoology a whole bunch of like corny dad jokes that you could pick from or find your own. And then your job is to kind of sketch out what you want. Okay. Last time I showed you the one I created last year, which was where do snowmen keep their money? In a snowbank. Ah, okay. I showed you how I got that programmed in there. Today, I'm going to go a little bit step by step, showing you a different one. I figured I should make a new one each year. Okay, so have your activity guide. Also, have this rubric out, which they go hand in hand and pretty much to see everything. But as you're planning things on your activity guide, then when you get totally done, you can check things off on the rubric. Okay. The one thing I want to remind you, okay, you've got to have a background and sprites. The properties for your sprites, here's why I put a big old question mark right here. You aren't probably going to know which ones you need until you get it programmed on the screen. You look at it and then you're like, do I need to scale it down? Maybe I only need to adjust the width a little bit. Maybe I want to add a tint color to it. Do you want to rotate it a little bit? Either way. So you can leave this blank until you actually get in and start programming. Okay. Text, we've talked about that, and you have to have like 6 elements in there. Okay. Now let's take a peek at the rubric just to see how this goes together. You have to have at least 2 sprites. I have background as a separate thing. So if you use a sprite as a background, you have to have 2 other ones here. Okay. Properties for your sprites. This, again, you're going to have to wait and see until you get in there. But I'm going to say you have to have properties on more than one of your sprites. Don't pile them all on one. If you do, you just won't get full points. That's all. Okay. I think it'll be pretty easy for you to do that. Then we get down to text and your text properties. And surprise, you're going to see some new properties all of a sudden show up, which is cool. When we get to lesson 10, you could try some of those for fun. This line is talking basically about how you've sequenced your program, meaning the order it's in, so that everything shows up. You don't get any errors when you try to run your program. That's what that's about. And the last one is at least 6 things. Okay, whether it's shapes, sprites, text, you need 6 elements on there. So let's go. All right, let me get to this level. So on lesson 10, don't open up yet, just watch for a moment. The first level says, okay, before you move on, sketch things out. Well, you should have been doing that. And this is the sample one, okay? Notice there's 2 characters here, your 2 sprites. They have a plain blue background, and then they've got 3 shapes in here, along with your 2 lines of text. So if I say background, 2 sprites, 2 lines of text, and 3 shapes on there, that gives you 8 elements just on that very simple scene. No problem, you can do it. Now you're going to start moving along in each level, and you're going to build as you go. So for example, this one, level 2, create or figure out your background. So there are 2 ways to do this, and it says use shape commands or sprites to draw the background of your scene. So we could go into drawing and just pick background color. That's going to be plain. I got to put my blocks back on. So if I wanted something like light yellow, when you do something like a dark blue or a light yellow, don't leave a space. Otherwise it won't work. So smush it all together. Okay, there's a background color. Now, some of you might be like, oh, I kind of want to use some of those pre-made backgrounds. That's okay. Here's how you would do just a plain background. If you wanted to pick one of their backgrounds, then go into animation. They have a whole bunch to choose from. In fact, as they keep loading here, there's some beautiful ones with these gradient colors like this. Those are kind of pretty. Or they have some sports ones. It's not perfect by any means, but they've got a few, and then they have some texture ones. So let's just say for mine, because I'm talking about robots, I don't know if they have anything techy to look at. I was going to plan on just using a plain color. So maybe I'll just use, should I use a cave? Oh, let's see what that looks like. Okay, kind of dark. When I go to code, then instead of using this background command, that's just color, you have to go to sprites. 3 steps always for your sprite. Create the sprite and name your variable. So if I just want to call it like cave, newsflash, don't call it background. You know why? Because there's a command called background. So don't name your variable background. Just do it this way. All right, so I'm just going to call this cave. The second step, you have to have this block where it says choose or set your animation. Match the name. Click on the drop down. There's my animation. Now if I hit run, it's not working. Third step, draw the sprite to the screen. In the yellow part of the toolbox, there it is. Now it's there. Cool. All right. If you want to, and I kind of did this on mine, this little thing with comments, I kind of like it. To throw these in, it's just spots where you can put in words to kind of chunk out your code so it doesn't get so run together and difficult to look at. Okay. Now, that's just my background. So that's all I have to do on this level. Hit finish. Level 3 is where you're going to put all the rest of your sprites. This is where you're going to spend most of your time. Okay. I'll put one in and then jump to text for a second, but just to show you, I have my robot in here. Okay. Here it is right here. So I need to program him now. He's a sprite. So I've got to go var sprite. It's a new variable. Set the animation. Now, don't grab another draw sprite. Just keep moving it to the bottom. Okay? You only need one. So let's see. This is my robot, right? Robot. Robot. Choose it. Run. Now, cool. There it is. Yikes. Way too big. So you can decide to get all of it on the screen and then try to move it around and size it. I'm going to do this right now. So I can tell right now it's way too big. I can fix that with sprite.scale. I'm going to call it robot. All right. Original size, like you see, is 1, meaning 100%. I want it smaller. So I'm going to have to say 0 point something, maybe 7. Let's see what it looks like. This is the beauty, is you just keep trying and trying things out and run it again until you get the size you like. Here's 60% or 6/10. Yeah, that's not so bad, I guess. Is that okay? It's okay. I don't like it in the middle though. I kind of want him positioned down here somewhere. All right, so if I move my cursor and I'm watching underneath for X and Y, 78, 258. Let's try that for my robot's position. 78, 258. Oh, maybe just a little lower. My Y value here has to get bigger. Maybe 275. I like it. Okay. Now, notice I've already used a property on one of my sprites. Cool. All right, next, add the next sprite that you have in there. For me, I've got my bowl, so I have to go var sprite and set the animation. Okay, this is my bowl. Bowl. Hey, by the way, if you want to hop around from spot to spot, and if your touchpad is getting all worn out, you can use the tab key and it just hops to each next available opening there. click bowl. All right, let's see what this looks like. Cool, it's floating in the air, so I think I want it to be over here somewhere. Maybe right about here, 350, 310 or something. Let's try that. 350, 310. Okay, that's getting better. I know it looks like it's floating, but yeah, we'll deal with that. All right, and then keep going. Notice I'm always leaving my draw sprites to be last. Okay, again, if you want to add comments, like I had my background, now this is my robot, then I could say, all right, here's all the code for my bowl. That's optional, but I kind of like it because it makes my code look a little more structured or organized. The last thing you'll do, so get everything in there. I don't have my computer chips and everything in there, but I want to at least show you text. Okay? Text. Your text is in the drawing part of the toolbox. Okay? Come down to find text string. This is where you type your words. Okay? So oops, haha, here we go. What, goodness sakes, a robot's favorite snack. Sank. Okay. Let's see. Now, if I hit run, it's really hard to see up there. See how tiny it is? First, I want to make it bigger. So I'm going to go text size. You have to put that before your words. Okay. So if I make that like 30, now I got to mess with my position. So if I make the 0 be more like 30, I got to shift it a little to the left. And then I got to have it come down some. 15 is way too short. So maybe like 50. Let's see what that looks like. Getting there, but it's now too long. So I think I want to wrap my text around. Here's how you do that. Look at this really carefully. See this little arrow? That opens up another spot, a parameter. And this is the width. We're going to make like an invisible text box. Do another right arrow so we get a width and a height. So let's see. I want my words, the whole screen to be 400. I don't know if I want it to go that far. Maybe like 300. You can play with this and see what you like. So at 300 wide, it's going to wrap to the next level. And then I better make it, if you want to put the grid on, that might kind of help, but my background is so dark. Maybe I'll say 150. Let's see what this looks like, okay? Ooh, that looks pretty good, okay? Nice. So that allowed you to kind of keep the text big and wrap it around. I can make it a color. Make sure you put it before the words. If I make it yellow, ooh, that's some nice contrast, huh? Cool. Let's see. There are some new properties. Let's play. Text align. I don't even know what that is. You can always click on this to look at some examples and it'll show you what to do. Okay. I'm not going to play with that necessarily, but I did want to look at text font. That's a new one. So what do we have in here? Examples. Do they give us some choices? Web safe fonts. The default is Arial. And then if you dive in here, you can find some other ones. Okay. So right now it's not working for me, but I think I could put in, if you remember some of them from cursive. It isn't really cursive. It looks more like Comic Sans. There you go. All right. See what you come up with and play a little bit. Your job is to kind of keep building. Okay. Now, the comments are optional. All right. They don't affect the functionality of your code. Again, background first, the rest of your sprites, the draw sprite command, which is yellow, and then your text comes after that. All right. Good luck, and I'll be excited to see what you come up with.